Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the BDE Sports Talk podcast, where this week we dive into a litany of moves by the Detroit Lions. Troy's Pistons got to a double-digit wins, but will a viral video be his undoing? We talk about MSU and Michigan in the Big Ten tournament and what MSU needs to do this weekend, if anything, to make the tournament. And we get into those streaky Red Wings with the weekly Red Wings update. I'm Bill, one of three brothers, one of three co-hosts, and the other two are the D and E of the BDE, alpha males, Dean and Eddie. Fellas looking great, looking swole. What's cracking, Dean?
Swollen from all the food I've eaten, but yeah, no, it's
that's all the sodium, my friend.
Yeah, it's all the sodium building up in me.
Bee stings and lots of whoppers.
That's my treatment for bee stings. I just eat whoppers, so it all works out. Doing good though. Doing good.
Nice. What's up, Beta Bill? I mean, we're doing good over here, man. How are you doing?
I'm very beta-y today. Don't feel like my alpha self. Well, anyways, glad to see you alphas are doing well. Let's talk about another alpha we know, but they reside in the food industry, and that is the one and only Adobo Boy. Adobo Boy is the official sponsor of the BDE Sports Talk podcast. We three band of brothers are proud Filipinos who love a good Filipino meal. And Adobo Boy delivers just that with their amazing food and vibes that I have said before, and I will say again, are unmatched in the food industry. Not only do they have delicious food, they also go against the grain of a traditional restaurant and tinker with their menu to bring you an amazing variety of Filipino cuisine. Their menu rotates weekly, so there's always a reason to come back to try more authentic Filipino food. But that one tasty dish, we bring it up every week. We'll bring it up next week. It's that Red's Pork Adobo. Iconic Filipino dish, iconic Adobo Boy dish. Dean, give it to me.
Whoa. Yeah. Maybe later, maybe after the podcast,
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Tender pork braised in soy sauce and vinegar. Comes on a bed of rice with a papaya salad or Jackie's achara and some cucumber. Definitely worth getting to. So you should definitely go down there and give it a try.
Yeah, no, I agree. It sounds great. Sounds like you've been practicing that bad boy for a few weeks now. So if you're into trying new and different food or would just like some amazing adobo and vibes, stop into Adobo Boy, where owners Ace, Jackie, and Son Red are truly amazing people who genuinely care. Every time I'm in there, just Ace is the nicest guy ever. He will hook you up, and by hooking them up, they'll hook you up extra, Eddie. How do they do that?
How don't they hook you up? I mean, really, that's the question. One, I mean, the food is exceptional. The atmosphere, amazing. And then you also get 5% off dropping the promo code BDE Sports Talk Podcast. Again, that's 5% off your total bill just by saying BDE Sports Talk Podcast. And they will honor that, and you will get amazing food with 5% off. I mean, I'm not sure you can beat that.
No, you can't. Not for food. Not for a great atmosphere. You can do karaoke if you want. Ace don't care.
Uh-oh.
Ace wants you to have a good time. And if you want to do karaoke, Adobo Boy is open Tuesday to Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5 to 7:30 for dinner, and on Saturday, same schedule, 11:30 a.m., 2 p.m. for lunch, and 5 to 8:30 for dinner. Adobo Boy is located at 3740 28th Street South in Kentwood, Michigan. It is inside the amazing Myanmar restaurant. Go to Adobo Boy, 5% off, BDE Sports Talk Podcast. We wouldn't steer you wrong. Get the adobo. They sold out Olympia, by the way, in the lunch hour.
No
Couldn't even get to
surprise.
dinner. So if you can get one of those little guys in your hands, do that with a pork adobo bowl. 5% off BD Sports Talk Podcast. Adobo Boy. It's more fun at Adobo Boy. So,
Heck yeah.
all right. Let's get into tonight's episode where we are going to talk about a bunch of moves by the Lions. The Lions re-signed Shane Zylstra, tender offers to Craig Reynolds and Brock Wright, and re-signed Zonovan Knight and Badgley. Now, on to Pistons news. So we have those, but let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. Lions re-signed Graham Glasgow, 3 years, $20 million, 9.5 guaranteed. They do lose Jonah Jackson to the Rams. His contract ended up being 3 years, $51 million, $34 million guaranteed. I have my thoughts on that. How do you guys feel about in regards to that position?
I like what they did. Jonah Jackson is as good as he was starting to have a little bit of injury trouble there at the end. And we all knew somebody would pay him, right? I mean, he's a good enough guard to get paid out on the open market. Obviously,
He's got a nice contract too.
Yeah. That's way more than what the Lions were definitely going to pay him, I'm sure. So getting Glasgow at pretty much a third of that in total money, not even in guaranteed money. I mean, he's only guaranteed $8 million, and obviously there's incentives involved and whatnot. And if you keep him all the way up to year 3, you only have like 1.83 million in dead cap. So in the end, it's really a win-win for the Lions, because I mean, if he plays well enough to keep the contract, I mean, you have to pay him $8 million, but then he's worth it, compared to paying Jonah to who knows if he's going to stay healthy, things like that. So I really liked that move by them to lock up a veteran on the line too, kind of keep that camaraderie going on the right side, at least with him and Sewell. Then you're just trying to fill in that left guard spot. So I liked it. I liked what they did, and they kept good cap money open too. So
9.5 guaranteed for Graham Glasgow.
Is it 9?
Yeah, 9.5. When you compare that to 34 million guaranteed for Jonah, and I believe Graham was a higher graded guard too, PFF wise. So, anyways, Eddie, go ahead.
I mean, what more could be said about that? Graham, as I highlighted, we all talked about a couple weeks ago, was probably the top on team priority based on what he does for that line, his versatility, his experience, all that stuff. I don't know if you want me to get into the other stuff they've done, but
go ahead. Oh yeah, I got that too. I got it all about.
Yeah. I mean, so I kind of went through some of the things, Zonovan, that's okay for depth. I mean, if he even makes the team. Marcus Davenport, if he's healthy, he's good, and he's got familiarity with the coaches, so that's kind of nice. Amik Robertson, he's better depth than Vildor. I'd say he's probably similar to Jerry Jacobs.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. Raiders fans too.
We'll get into that. I mean, do you want me to? Because I have all the stuff here.
Yeah, no, we'll get into those too. I just wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts.
Yeah. No, I was excited for Graham. Super happy. Deal's great. Jonah, I think we felt like he was going to go. It just, the price point for him was too high. And honestly, I do feel like it's too high. He's a really good guard, but he's injured a lot too. And so, good for the Rams. He's a great player. Happy for everything he did here in Detroit. Obviously, would have loved to have him back at, something a little more than Glasgow, obviously. But yeah, at the what he was gonna get from the Rams, it wouldn't have made sense.
Right. Well, and we've talked about it too. You still got Sewell. I mean, would you rather give that money to keep Sewell over Jonah Jackson? Still got Amon-Ra, JG. You know, I mean, the list could go on. So, we'll get into Amik Robertson right now. 2 years, 9.25 million. 2024 cap hit of just 2.85 million. While we're at it, we'll stick to the secondary. They also traded for Carlton Davis, the third. Is it the third?
Yeah.
Okay. Giving up a 24 third round pick for a 24 6 and a 25th 6. Real quick, I'll just say, have healthy, good, can be a good signing for with Davis. Meek Robinson, I mean, essentially you brought it up already, and you can go into that. I hope they're looking at someone in the draft as well. I don't, and Eddie, you were going to say this, and you actually did, and I have it on here that I don't think the room got worse. The cornerback room got worse. If anything, it got a little better. But I mean, like you said, Jacobs, and then Gardner Johnson's gone. But you had Davis and Amik Robinson. Davis has his injuries. It's almost, to me, it almost feels neutral, like it was neutral. You know what I mean? It was like almost moving pieces. Sutton's still your number one at this point. Robertson maybe is number two, and Branch still in the slot. Now that I assume you're going to put Melifonwu and Kirby at safety, full time now. So I don't know. Yeah, as far as that goes, I don't know. I may be completely off on that. It makes them better because I think Robertson can be really a good signing, if they put him in the right spot. But we'll see. And Brad, we trust. So, Eddie, we'll start with your thoughts on that. Sorry.
No, I mean, you're all good. I think you're a little off just in assessment of where they're going to be. I think Carlton Davis is automatically our number one. He's used to covering number one receivers. He has had a fall off, and the one thing I worry about him is he's missed 16 games over the last 3 years. But he's probably better for our number one than Cam Sutton as our number two. And I think, we got the safeties back there. I didn't get a lot from CJ Gardner Johnson. He was hurt, so I felt like maybe Joseph and Melifon were probably played better. You could even put Branch back there. If you get Amik Robertson playing well, then you could have Sutton as your slot guy, which he really thrives in that role, and Branch being his natural position at safety. Whatever. I think in general, the cornerback room, the defensive back room is better. I mean, you got to weigh what CJ may or didn't mean. I have no idea because he just didn't play enough, I feel like, to gauge that. But like I said, Robertson's an upgrade over Vildor, probably an upgrade over Jerry Jacobs. Carlton Davis is our best corner on the team now. But he's up and down too. He didn't. If he was as good as like he was talking about in his press conference today, he's going to shut down one side of the field kind of thing, then Tampa wouldn't have let him walk. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited, and I'm also disappointed.
Yeah, I agree with Eddie on that. I'd actually seen some things like even a few years ago, Carlton Davis was a fringe top 10 type of cornerback when they had Brady, stuff like that. And like you said, the injuries, obviously, he lost a lot of the physicality that he had before that. And I think that's played a huge role in why he's suffered the last couple of years. But, sometimes a change in scheme, change of scenery, sometimes that brings out a better version of yourself in a sense of being a player, so maybe that'll help. Having player coaches probably helps a lot too, in a sense of, your training and, development and stuff. And he's only 27. So, he's still relatively young corner. The only thing I I don't know how I feel about them giving up a third for him, given they got 2 6-round picks with him. Mostly because he's on a 1-year deal anyway. So it's like really you traded that third for a 1-year flyer to see if he pans out. But I mean, in the end, I think he's a pretty decent upgrade to the secondary room, especially if he can play maybe even 75% of what he did a few years back. So I do like that signing. When it comes to Robertson, like you guys said, I mean, he's going to be a good depth piece, I think. I did read a lot of comments from the Raiders fans, saying how much of a dog he is, and he's always going to give 110%, which is a very typical Dan Campbell type of guy. And a lot of their fans were upset that they got rid of him because they feel like he was coming into his own. So maybe we just caught that back end or that middle part where he's coming into his own, and maybe he could be somebody that's maybe starting on the other side of Carlton Davis or Sutton if Davis, gets hurt or whatever. The only thing that worries me about him is the only thing that worries me about Robertson is that he's 5'9", so he's not going to be able to cover, your Mike Evans, you know what I mean? Guys like that. I mean, you might be able to keep up, but you throw a deep ball up in the air to those guys.
Yeah. Well, you're 5'11", you can't cover him.
This is true. He'd burn me on the street. There's no doubt. There's no doubt on that.
Cover him on a fade from the 50-yard line.
You could
quit talking about my boy, my short king.
The thing, but I mean, if the Raiders fans are right and they're legitimately upset because they think he was coming into what he could potentially be, I mean, that's only good for the Lions, and it's on a low risk deal for the Lions as well, with, like you said, with the cap hit being low. So I thought those were two pretty good signings. I thought it made the secondary room a lot better, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I say it's a wash because I didn't even think about Vildor. That's what I mean. Yeah. So yeah, the only thing that worries me is Davis being hurt and what have a Gardner Johnson situation. No fault to Gardner Johnson. I mean, he get hurt, but
right.
It just we'll see. Like you said, Ed, I was happy, but I was also kind of disappointed in the whole thing. It is what it is though. Like it's hard to be super disappointed when you see it happen, right? Like there's people, obviously, I don't know if you've watched social media comments or whatnot, but it's just like some people, they just don't have, I mean, any trust in Holmes at all. So, but you've
conversely, I think people have too much. I think there's also the folks that are like, Brad can do no wrong. It's like, yeah, he can. I mean, we messed up at the trade deadline just this last year, and it cost us a trip to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Well,
get us an edge rusher. Tell me we're not in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I love Brad. He's earned our trust. He's earned everything that people love about him. But at the same time, we have to be honest about it. And that the ball was dropped at the trade deadline last year. The money was there. The guys were there to make a move. And we saw it really bite us in the ass in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Straight up. And it was used against us. A guy we could have got was used against us.
This is true.
So, moving. Speaking of edge rushers, they signed Marcus Davenport to a 1-year, $6.5 million contract, up to 10 with incentives. 27 years old. In my mind, if he can stay healthy, he's a steal. But that's the main problem, is him staying healthy. He has shown flashes of being very good. And again, he's only 27. We just talk. I mean, whenever I hear his name, I feel like he's like 33, 30. 4 years old. You know,
I thought
look,
he's been in the
27.
league for like. I thought he's been in the league for like 10 seasons.
I was like, oh,
dang.
well, yeah.
Whatever.
I had initially like great veteran guy. Like,
Right, yeah, same. I was like, okay, a little
like,
veteran action. Then I look, oh, he's only been in the league for 5 years or whatever.
I don't know if you guys agree with that. I do think he's a steal if he can stay healthy. I don't think he'll be able to stay healthy. It kind of seems to be the story of the week is getting dudes who are injury prone. So
That's the story of Brad Holmes.
Thoughts on? Yeah,
he loves going after these injury reclamation guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give him that 1 year deal
on a good deal.
Maybe they can give us one really good season and and then see you later.
Maybe.
So
yeah, I agree with you, Bill. I think he is a little bit of a steal. I think he's obviously with Romeo and Charles Harris and Julian, all those guys gone. They didn't account for a lot of the snaps, but I think he can alone just take all their snaps in their rotation. I think he'll be a good depth piece for them. Plus, I think he's already comfortable with AG and Dan being in New Orleans with them for like a season or two. So I think they know what they're going to get out of him. And I mean, I think he kind of has a feel for what they expect from him too. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I think he is a steal though, I would say.
if he stays healthy,
I mean, I guess I'm not with you guys. I just not. I hear you guys saying it and I want to feel that way too. I don't feel it's a steal. I feel like we got exactly what he's worth because he can't stay on the field. He's proven it. Hopefully he can, even if he's healthy. He's not that electric. I mean, I think like he's good, but he's not like
you don't watch a lot of Saints games, I guess.
You know, he's not like all of a sudden we got another Hutch or
right. Well, yeah,
or whatever. I mean, like he's good. He's a nice rotational piece. I don't know, man. I'm just not there. I think I just feel let down by the way it's gone down because I feel like the window closes so fast in the league that you mess around for too long, hoping not to overpay or pay and all this other stuff that all of a sudden that door closes on you. I think they still need to land someone like Chase Young or Jadeveon Clowney who are still available. I know they're in talks about Eric Armstead, who just got released by the Niners. He's had injury problems too, so it sounds like Brad Holmes will probably be calling. The one thing about Eric Armstead is when he is on the field, he mostly plays pass rush downs. And another PFF thing I'll throw in since we're postseason is he has an 85.1 PFF pass rush, which is top tier. So when he is on the field, he is really good. I mean, the dude's like a creative player. He's like 6'8", 290. You know what I mean? Yeah. The guy is a freak. So it'd be sweet if he's healthy. I think he would be like if Davenport and Armstead were both healthy, Armstead's a no-brainer over Davenport, and that's what I'm saying. Davenport's a good player. I like that he's on the team. If he's healthy, he's going to be a benefit to the team for sure. He's not all that we need.
That's it.
To get at the quarterback. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just more that needs to happen. I mean, even Bud Dupree is out there just to like get somebody else in there, just to rotate. Unless they really think James Houston's going to come around. I know I was kind of hard on him in my head because he only played like the one game,
right?
And it was obviously not impressive.
Well, then, how do you feel about them? How about DJ Reader visiting Detroit?
That's whatever. He's not he doesn't pressure the quarterback. We were one of the best against the run last year, and that's what he does. He'll be a nice piece to throw in next to Lee McNeil, but it's not going to change the issues we have.
What about them re-signing the fullback, Dan Skipper?
Oh, love that.
Gotta
Skip.
love it.
Give him the old Skip another 1 year prove it deal.
That big old racist, that guy.
They finally re-signed him and not made him wait to the practice squad.
They'll probably stick him on there. at first.
Yeah, they'll probably throw him on there.
I mean,
two-way contract.
from where they're at, I feel like I know we're ways from the draft, but I feel like an interior offensive lineman is probably a prime spot at 29.
Yeah.
There'll be some good dudes there. Even if Zach Zinter will still be there then. But if like that's our worst case, like that's pretty good.
And he was injured, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's ideal. That's ideal for Brad. It's like, did he have an injury? Oh yeah. Take him.
Dan's like, we can tape him up, man. Get him out there.
Yeah, Dan.
Oh,
We'll get him taped, man.
He's got grit, bro.
Look at him tape, man.
Real quick, wanted to touch on Gardner Johnson. We had already talked about him a little bit, but went back to Philly on a 3-year deal. So my thoughts on it were like, if
Like 33 mil too.
yeah. With how things went this season, obviously he's definitely a talker, right? So in a way, I appreciate what he can do and his talent. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely a good defensive back. But as much as he fit like the team culture of grit, I also think him doing a lot of talking didn't fit in the culture either for that team. You don't have a lot of people that were, you know what I mean? The only outspoken one was Jamal Williams from 2 seasons ago. You know what I mean?
He wasn't talking trash to like the other team.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It just like for what he brought, it was a fit culture wise, but at the same time, his personality, right? His personality to me didn't seem like it fit the culture either. So hope he does well in Philly. I mean, and kind of. I mean,
Not really.
Yeah,
you know, I saw the comments like blue ski mask makers crying.
Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, he was cool and stuff, but like, dude, if you're gonna be talking that trash, I need you to light somebody up every game. I need you to like get a pick or something. Like, you can't be talking the trash and then get burned.
Yeah.
Like then I'm like, that's really not beneficial. That's nothing about what's happening is helping us out.
Right.
So
He was a good tackler though. I'll give him that. But,
how many games did he play?
not
A
much.
half dozen?
Yeah, something like
maybe.
that.
Maybe.
So
Felt like he didn't play all season.
I know.
Then he almost had that penalty in the in the divisional or whatever that it could have really ruined things. But that's okay.
Speaking of fighters.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of fighters, that Troy Weaver, that guy's looking to beat some ass. Pistons hit double-digit wins. Congrats to the fellas. Troy's looking to beat people up. I didn't put a lot on here because it's at this point it's just waiting for the end of the season. Do you kind of side with Troy in that moment? Because it doesn't, from what I had read, it wasn't like that one thing the dude said. The funny thing is, from what was being reported by other people was this dude was heckling him a couple times. And then when Troy came back at him, did you see the video? The guy's like, what? He's like, you still get your job.
You threatened me. You threatened me.
Like, oh, wasn't that Weaver who said he threatened him?
No.
Like that.
I thought it was Weaver who said he was threatened.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
I mean, to get him.
And that's how he got the guy kicked out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was afraid Tom Gores might hear him.
Tom Gores wasn't there.
Exactly. That's the only threatening thing about that phrase is, oh, if my boss hears, he might actually start thinking I suck. What's threatening, dude?
Yeah.
No, just end it already, please. Just end it. He's not going to. Nothing's going to change. Troy will be back next year, giving up second rounders.
And I don't take Troy's side on that, because depending on what I don't know what the fans said, like, entirely, but like, I mean, hey, dude, he called you out. He paid his money to get in there.
Go sit up in the box.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when the players complain about the fans like yelling and physically doing anything, like the malice at the palace, it's like they paid to, especially if you're courtside. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you paid to be there. I don't know why you can't. I mean, I wouldn't, but I don't know why you wouldn't be able to if that's what you felt, as long as it wasn't anything like, I'm going to kill you after the game. You know what I mean? Threaten somebody's life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to find you on the
That's
bus,
exactly what I thought. And also
stuff like that. But like,
yeah, but if it's the whole game, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I guess I don't know why I'm playing devil's advocate here, because the guy he sucks at his job. So I don't know why I'm playing devil's advocate. But Dean, you're wrong.
Team's won 10 games. I think everybody should be yelling at him.
We're at 11 now, aren't we?
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think it's 10. I think they're playing right now.
It could be 11. They beat somebody.
They beat Charlotte.
Charlotte. The Orioles?
They beat Charlotte the other night. No, dude. I mean, here's the thing. Like with Troy, like, I mean, it's fine. I understand what you're saying, Bill.
It is 11.
But at the same time, you said it is 11.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
Of course it is.
The guy sucks at his job all year.
Yeah, he does. He sucks, dude.
Killian Hayes still isn't on a team.
Exactly. I think Kevin Knox was released from another team. Like, guys that we had starting at certain points in the year are not even on a backup G League team. Like it's not good.
Sad part is Knox didn't even seem that bad when he was on the Pistons. That's the sad part.
He was a former top 10 draft pick, dude. So it's not like we're the only ones that missed on him, but it's still like he has tape out there. Yeah. I mean, Weaver doesn't enjoy hearing the truth. Here, the thing with what you're saying, Bill, too, is like, yeah, I mean, Weaver didn't like hearing it, but Weaver also has the ability to go anywhere he wants in the arena and sit. You don't like it, dude? Move on. He could sit at the end of the bench if he wants. You know what I'm saying? And you know what, dude? You're the executive of the team. You don't like it, then leave. You're going to say it's on the fan to hold back when you're producing an 11-win squad in your, almost fourth year? I mean, dude, if you suck, someone should tell you suck when you're this bad. During his tenure, the Pistons are 71 and 229.
Yeah, that's insane.
As the GM, 31% win percentage. Yeah, dude, you suck. You're bad at your job. It's obvious now. It was obvious probably a year ago. Yeah, dude, you deserve to hear it. Everybody should have been yelling it at him.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
Yeah. Give him credit for sitting with the fans, though, huh? Right? People's champion.
Yeah. Dude, he's a
listen. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm trying to get a little pardon the interruption going. Troy Weaver extension, 3-year extension.
Yeah, right.
Get him some more.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll tell you what. If he gets an extension, I will legitimately not watch. in my own little one-man protest. And along with all the other people who can't watch because you guys suck.
Yeah.
Well, to a professional team that sucks, to a college team that sucks, Michigan lost 85-70 to Nebraska on Senior Day to cement this team as the worst squad in over 40 years in Michigan basketball. In their last 8 games, they lost by an average of 18.6 points a game. That includes a 30-point loss to Rutgers in that span. A regular season finally comes to an end after a Senior Day that looked like the rest of the season. Pretty good first half, terrible second half. Wash, rinse, repeat, essentially. It's crazy. I honestly don't think they're going to fire him. I don't think they're going to fire Juwan Howard. But getting outclassed in second halves all year became glaringly obvious in the 8 games in a row that they lost. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. So it's time to ride. It is what it is. Can't be champions at everything.
Let's ride.
That's right.
Hey, I'm excited for us at Pittsburgh, as if that means anything. But
season's not over yet. They still got the Big Ten tournament.
That's true, dude. They win the tournament.
They got to win 5 games.
Don't look at the score now because it's only got to be close to the end of the first half.
That's true. I should look at like 5
There's
minutes.
no
left.
point in looking now. Dean, do you have much with Michigan?
I mean, they're obviously going to have to make decisions with the whole Juwan thing. I mean, this is one of the worst seasons that Michigan has ever had. On paper for sure.
That's after everything that happened.
So they really need to make a decision whether they want to stick with Juwan for another year or whatever. But I mean, I don't, like you said, I think they do keep him for another season at least. And I mean, that'll be do or die for him, I think. If it's not already, I don't know how you. I feel like in most other programs, if it wasn't somebody that was from the program, it's kind of like how when we talked about Iserman, and it's harder to get rid of him if things weren't whatever going as planned. It's harder to get rid of somebody like that because he's beloved by the fan base. Now, I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know how much. I don't know how much Howard is beloved right now.
Not right now. It ain't good.
If he wants to keep coaching Michigan, I mean, obviously he's going to have to hit the transfer portal, kind of like what he did for this team, and he's got to get some guys that can do. I mean, as much as I don't want to see Michigan get studs on their team as a Sparty fan, but if he wants to keep his job, he better do something. So.
Well, you better find someone who can coach the second half in the portal.
Oh, for sure. Like I said before, they've been tough to watch. And like we just mentioned, bewildering to see the differences in the first to second half. So I went through their losses today. Of their 23 losses, and I just went with games they were within 5 points or winning at halftime. Of the 23 losses, 15 times they were within 5 points or winning. Of those 15 losses, they had a lead at halftime 8 of those games. Just holding the lead in those games brings Michigan to a winning record.
Yeah.
Not to mention you were within 5 at the half in the other 7. And so to me, Howard should lose his job. He'll be back. And it's a reason that Dean brought up, and it's one I've talked about before. I mean, that's the hard part about having hometown former heroes as people in charge. Because they get a little extra grace that others wouldn't be afforded. I mean, at the same time, it kind of worked out for Harbaugh, so then maybe they're feeling that way there. Like if they had played out the COVID season, he was probably gone, dude. He was about to get torched with a really bad record after not having amazing seasons that, Michigan wants. And so it worked out there. I'm not sure it's going to be the same deal for Juwan, but the thing about basketball, all it takes is the one player.
Right.
Especially you get yourself a Trey Burks, right, at Michigan, or whoever, Chet Holmgren, you get one elite player, you're going to be in the tournament if you play them the right way in the first and second half.
Right.
And that'll be huge. So, I mean, he'll be around for at least one more year, at least one more half season. Like if they get out first half of the season and they're 5-10,
well,
they got to let him go. But those 5 wins will be NJIT and Bowling Green and
right. Well, I mean, the consensus of Michigan fans is they appreciate what Juwan's done for the Fab Five and coming in after Beeline, but everyone wants him gone. I mean, that's just to the point. I think it's more Ward Manuel than anything else.
I say, I bet Ward's afraid to get slapped in the hallway. He's probably avoiding Juwan at all costs. Like, dude, I know he's mad right now.
Get this guy next.
I ain't trying to catch Juwan's 5 fingers to the face.
So, yeah. Well, I don't think he loses his job. It is what it is.
Not yet.
So,
but I think he does have one more at the most. A half season to a full season, and you can't go further than that.
I don't even think he fires him halfway through the season. I think he goes all the way through out of Ward Manuel loyalty. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing right now. It's frustrating. But all right, MSU lost to Indiana, lose 4 of their last 5. Are they still locked to get in if they lose early in the Big Ten tourney?
You talking first round loss, or just within the first 2 rounds?
No, I think if they win, they probably get in. I think they're in anyway, but that's.
I think so. There's always those teams that, somebody gets snubbed in the end. So you never know. I think to solidify it, they have to at least win the first couple of games, or at least the first one at the very least. But yeah, I do think that they're in either way, even though I do feel like they're on the bubble a little bit. I feel like if anybody, they could be a team that could get snubbed, but I don't know what the other college teams' strength of schedules are, who they're comparing them to. It's all up in the air. I mean, it's a whole bracket of 64 teams. So it's, who knows what the experts are saying or thinking or whatever. But from what I've read, they're still in as of right now. But I mean, it's up in the air. You never know. I would say yes as of right now. But
yeah, no, they're definitely in right now. I mean, I think you beat Minnesota tomorrow, you're 100% in. They got in last year with 19 wins. That would be their 19th win. I think once you get into 18, you're kind of sitting on the fence. And then if you get over that, you're pretty safe depending on what you've done. And Michigan State has at minimum a top 15 strength of schedule, strength of record type of thing. And, that's part of the credit to what Izzo does at the beginning of the season. I mean, even, the first loss of the season, James Madison, they're conference winners and they went 30-3. I mean, so that doesn't even look bad anymore.
right.
Lunardi has MSU right now in the most ideal spot. So it's like, I hope they only beat Minnesota. I mean, Purdue is who they got to play if they beat Minnesota. So they're going to lose. So they're only going to win one more potentially. Right. And right now, Lunardi has them at like a 10 seed in the Midwest bracket. So they'd be playing in Indianapolis and the 2 seed there would be Marquette. So you win, hopefully, and then you play Marquette again. And then it's like if it works out exactly like Joe Lunardi thinks it might work out, then that would be ideal.
Sweet 16.
I'm afraid of them, messing around and getting an upset over Purdue and then jumping up to like the 8 seed or something and then playing one of the 1 seeds.
Yeah.
because
can
you
see
did
that.
good. But they beat Minnesota. I think they're guaranteed for sure in. I think you lose, then it starts to get thought about. But fortunately, their strength of record and schedule is so high that they're probably in anyway, unless they get blown out.
Right. Right. No, I agree. I think they're in anyway, but yeah, we shall see. Update: Michigan's down 8-3. So, all right.
Ooh, tight one.
Yeah, tight one.
Real tight.
5 points.
Speaking of teams that have lost, it's time for the Red Wings Weekly Update. Fellas, they've lost 6 straight. The defense looks bad. Lion looks tired. They've been outscored 32-11 with giving up 7 to Colorado. Shutout by Arizona. Losses to Vegas and Buffalo. Buffalo was bad with last night. Looked like they didn't want to be there. Winless on the road trip. Larkin being out still. It has something to do with it, but I just think it's the defense is bad, guys. Defense is bad. I hate been pointing it out all year. I try to do it, but Sherratt is terrible. Like the guy's just not good. He looks to be in the position. I saw him at 3 goals last night where he was completely out of position. And I can see that. If I can see that, then it's not good. Right? He was a -4 last night, a -2 the game before, -1, and -2 for the road trip. Petrie was -11. Those are your 2 defenders. Same line, by the way. Same pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not same line. Extremely rough. But the thing is, they've been like this the whole season. Extremely streaky. 5 games here, 5 games. It's just now they put themselves into a hole. Or not, I wouldn't say a hole. It's more you put yourself in a position where now your must-win games are now must-win games. They got big games against Arizona, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Columbus in the next week. They really need to win at least 3 of the 4.
Or in the last week.
Yeah. No, that's this week coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they play Arizona. They play Buffalo again. I think they play them 3 more times.
Yeah, that's
And
a
Buffalo,
scary
wow.
thought. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a scary thought.
Did you guys catch the game at all last night?
Mm-hmm.
Those jerseys are sick though. I thought those were pretty sick.
Got to
beat
see
Buffalo.
Got to see him talk about Patrick Kane in a in a Sabres jersey. Well, I was watching the Sabres a lot, but other than that, there wasn't a lot of highlights for the Red Wings in that one.
No. Eddie, your thoughts?
That was tough to
No,
watch.
I mean, you kind of said a lot of the stuff that I had looked up.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, you're not going to be sorry. I mean, what else is there to look at? I mean, they're floundering and they're barely holding on. Can't win a game with those damn garbage patches on their jerseys.
I saw that.
Get those off. It looks
Dude,
so
get them
bad.
off. It's a curse. I thought I was doing something, adding up their scores from the last 6 games, but you mentioned they've been outscored 32-11, which is embarrassing in 6 games. And I also wrote down that Sherratt and Petrie line has got to go.
It's bad, dude.
It's real bad. I thought, okay, we made no moves, real moves at the deadline again, and I thought that was going to really hurt us. But I thought with the move they made, it cleared a spot for Edvinsson to come up.
Right.
Is what I was hoping for. And obviously that hasn't happened. It's like, dude, what are we waiting on at this point? That defense is bad. And like you said, Lyon he looked rough, man. But there was no help for him either. So Reimer did what he could when he came in after. You know, as of today, the Islanders have moved up into that final wild card spot. Dude, they need a win just to stop the skid.
Yeah.
At minimum, it makes
it can't all be Larkin.
It's not.
Like-
No, it's not. It makes me feel, I don't want to say it, man, a little fraudulent. And I hate to abandon. I'm not, you know, as a fan as we are of all the Detroit teams. It's like you never truly abandon ship. You know, you feel like the guys are, especially when they've had a season like they've had, and then all of a sudden just coming up on such a rough, dude. It's not like they're just losing.
Yeah,
they're getting embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, you can be down 7-2 to Buffalo, or losing to Phoenix. When Phoenix going into that game, I think was like 2-12-1 in their last 15.
Yeah. Got shut out,
dude. I'll give you the Panthers.
All right.
Yeah,
they're real good.
And Colorado.
Colorado, good team. It's tough, and I think after this season, if they don't make the playoffs, I think it's time to at least talk about the Iser plan being underwhelming. People hate, that's another hometown hero thing, right? I love Stevie Y and whatnot, but I mean, dude, if we don't make the playoffs in his 5th year, where are we at?
Where are we at?
I mean, in fairness to Yzerman, they do have one of the best prospect pools in the league. So I
where
mean,
are they?
They're all down there.
They're in GR, baby. It's all coming
together. Let these boys develop. You know,
building a dynasty.
Yeah, we're building something. He's building it the right way, and you're becoming impatient.
You make me sick.
It's been
this ain't the Eddie plan,
dude,
okay?
Half of the NHL teams get to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, not everybody gets to make it, okay?
And we're 5 years deep in this prospect pool.
Hey, I mean, you're not wrong.
The one thing that gets me is Edvinsson, because he's good. Like, he's a good defender. He's better than Petrie and Sherratt and really Ali Mata.
I feel like when I see him up on the big squad, he does pretty well. So I'm always like, why are we not?
I don't get it. I truly don't. Maybe they're trying to win an AHL championship this year.
Yeah.
That's got to be the first focus.
They've been playing well. The Griffins.
They have.
Sure, they got good players that we're not bringing up to the Red Wings.
They finally brought up Berggren.
I was gonna say, man, dear Lord, how long does it take to bring that guy up? He's been good too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when they can bring up Marco Kasper.
The Ghost.
That's another one. That's another one.
I've been waiting on Kasper since they drafted him, and that was a high draft pick.
He's been playing well this year too. They said he's finally translating over to the American game.
Yeah, he's still getting there, man.
Well, then why would you draft him? Why would you draft him? If it's a guy, how are you this deep into hockey your whole life, Steve Yzerman?
Oh,
one of the greats of all time.
How do I mute this mic?
One of the best to ever do it, and has been in charge of successful clubs. And you don't know that this guy might not be able to translate into the American game by watching him play.
Needs a couple years, man.
I hope so. I really want to see Kasper playing.
He'll be there
in a Red Wings jersey, not a Griffins jersey.
I don't know when he's bringing him.
We're not drafting for the Griffins, damn it. We're drafting for the Red
Wings. It's sweet. You should be.
We have the
Griffins games. Really good
team.
Hell, you might as well bring up Kosa right now too.
Might as well.
Yeah, give him a shot.
No,
Yeah.
he's not ready.
Yeah.
That guy isn't ready. He'll be good, but he's not ready. So, all right. I'm not going to take any more Iserman slander on this podcast.
It's not slander. It's what's happened, and it's the truth so far.
And like Dean said, it's not any plan. It's an Iser plan.
Yeah.
The Iser plan is to not make the playoffs for 5 years.
This pod's over. A dynasty is being built. It's just in Grand Rapids.
I mean, maybe. Yeah,
It's in Grand
the
Rapids.
Griffin's dynasty has begun.
Griffin's dynasty.
He's like, next, the K-Wings.
Yeah, raising the Calder Cup.
Raising the Calder.
So, all right. Well,
It just means more.
we want to sell out Van Andel.
Have you ever been in a sold out Van Andel? It's electric.
Oh, speaking of which, real quick, I saw Simon Edvinson just walking around Grand Rapids last week.
You did?
Really?
Yeah, I looked over.
Did you go hug his leg or what?
He's a tall dude.
Yeah.
He's like 6'7". And then someone else came up to him. I don't know who it was. Probably someone trying to hang on to his fame.
Mr. Edvinson. Mr.
Yeah.
Edvinson.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I kind of laughed to myself when I was driving away because I'm like, Mr. Edvinson, can I get an autograph, please?
Sign my chest, Mr. Edvinson.
Yeah.
Will you make it out to your number one fan?
Do you say you want to make out with your number one fan?
You better make out.
You're just a 10-second Frencher with Edvinson out on the streets of Grand Rapids.
He
just picks you up.
Yeah. I was going to say, he just passed me on the head. You'll get there, kid. I'm almost 40 years old, sir.
Sir.
Oh, man.
That's
Hopefully he
awesome.
goes to Detroit.
Moving
AHL
for another year.
championship first, 2024. All right.
You're going to get a
Good
tattoo
episode.
for that to commemorate the Griffins 24 AHL
A
championship.
griffin on my
Yeah. Brad
Just a-
Holmes, signed Bobby Boucher. We need pressure.
Watch it. Brad Larkin is signed. Yeah, he's got some injury right now, but he doesn't want to become a Lion. So, all right, good episode. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button and share us to a friend, please. The people, hey, word of mouth has been going around.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'd love to see it. So thanks for watching. Now go watch last week's episode of Wake Up. If you haven't, it's a good one. And we'll have a new Wake Up next week. We'll have a new BD Sports Talk podcast next week. Have
Should
an
be a good
awesome
one, too.
week. Eyes are playing forever.
Sports Talk.